And Jimmy Patsos in studio with us, along with Javion Ogunyemi, J.O. Big game on Monday night against Quinnipiac. You guys dominate the boards. I could not believe that final stat. 52-27.
They were ready to play.
I mean, seriously. What's up with that, J.O.?
That's one of the things we try to do, regardless of who we play.
Well, I watched, and you were dominating performance between you and Levon, and 52-27.
Marquise was. I'll tell you what, Marquise got in there and did a lot of hustle plays for us. Brett always rebounds.
The only thing I want to know: how long was the film session after the Iona game? I'm hearing how long? How long were you in the room watching film?
Take anywhere from 2 to 3 hours, probably.
Closer to 3.
Now, Zach, you said that's unheard of.
Well, I mean,
it isn't. Bob Huggins does it every week. I call Billy Hahn.
3 hours?
3 hours. Bob Huggins, Billy Hahn, Bob Huggins, West Virginia said there's only one thing to do: watch every play.
Multiple times.
You got to rewind. You got to go over some things. Well, we had like the Rambus. Look, there was a lot of videos. We talked about Berea. Remember him from Northeastern?
Yeah.
Good player.
Really good player.
Talked about Frank. We talked about, I showed him the Rambus. I showed him McHale, clothesline, and Rambus. In other words, sometimes. But because McHale, clothesline, Rambus, but you saw Larry Bird go pick him up and say, hey, it's just part of the game. Rambus went to Santa Clara, There was a lot of ideologies and talks and stories.
But they're not always 3 hours, though, right, with you?
They're never. We don't have film. You win and you get to go home and eat a cheeseburger. You lose, you got to deal with it.
I said
Jamie, I'll tell you, good wins. Zach knows this. Good. All wins are good. And then there's good losses and then there's bad losses. Lane 3, bad loss.
Was that the best performance of the season for you as a team, Javion? Complete, start to finish, at Quinnipiac on Monday night?
Yeah, I would say so. We had a lot of energy from the beginning. Everybody bought in. We wanted to win. And we got down like 4 or 6 or something like that, but nobody put their head down, and we knew we were still going to come back and win.
And was that the best game for you personally? Because I saw that's a season-high 25. I think you were 12 of 14 from the floor. Hard to be much more efficient than that.
Yeah, I think that was probably from an offensive standpoint, probably my best game of the year, but I probably think I had a couple that was better, like from an all-around standpoint.
And now, Canisius.
No, we got to talk about Melo. Javion's big Nets fan. I want him to go to the Celtics. Grow up and go to Celtics. Look, it's only an hour away in a flight.
His wife doesn't want to leave New York.
Well, I know that. That's why we can't go to L.A., but Boston's close. 2-year run. They got the Nets picked. Javion's a Nets fan. We'll go into that later.
The Nets have 9 wins this season.
Jeremy Lin's going to come back and play really hard. He's such a competitor. He's such a warrior, Jeremy Lin. He's like, not feeling it today. I think I need another month off. Hey, need me. I'll be at the Gap doing ads, whatever.
What happens if they lose tonight to Brooklyn?
Well,
they don't win back-to-back games.
But they all like Melo. I like Melo. I knew Melo was a little kid. I knew Melo. Right when he moved to Baltimore when he was 12 or whatever. Go to the Celtics. It's a great place to live, be a great fan base. He could help them win. They got the Nets pick, 2-year run, but it's close. He can commute back and forth. It's close.
I heard he didn't like Boston, though. He didn't like the Celtics.
Well, that's what Kevin Garnett said until he got his ring finger. Now he really likes the Celtics. I mean, in other words, it's a great place. I know I grew up there. That's what we were all talking about Brent Musburger, too. What a performance.
I am a big Brent Musburger.
He did all the NBA Finals. Remember Roger back in the day when that was the only thing? But you know what he did the most? He did the BC game when Flutie threw the pass to me. I was sitting on my couch watching that comeback.
The Hail Mary.
With my mother because she was a big sports fan. So I would, if I was Melo, I'd go there. But the Brent Musburger thing I thought was tremendous.
It was huge. And do you remember him on the set of the NFL Today show?
A little bit. I knew I was more of an NBA guy, back then the Patriots stunk and whatever.
Yeah.
But he was like the man to do college football on Saturday. And then the NBA Finals, he just did them in the Celtics we were there all the time.
Yeah, I'm going to miss Musburger. I really am.
He's a legend. It's the end of an era. I mean, you talk about you growing up with him. Vince Scully steps out. Yeah. Brent Musburger steps out. It's definitely a dawn of a new day.
But AJ Cannell's coming, so the world will be safe. Zach sent us that guy.
I sent you AJ Cannell.
AJ. Yeah.
Apple juice.
Hey.
Apple juice. How'd you get that nickname, J.L.?
His name's AJ.
AJ Apple Juice.
Hey. Before we move on from Melo, I want to ask you one question. If he does not, kill that TV, Raj. If he does not agree to leave New York, because ultimately we can talk about guys wanting to move him and Phil trying to negotiate with other teams. All that stuff doesn't matter. They have empowered him with a no-trade clause. One of 3 players in the league, right? Dirk, LeBron, Melo. if he does not agree to leave New York, does it validate all of the speculation we have about Melo that winning a championship isn't the utmost important thing for him?
He watches a lot of basketball.
J.O.?
Honestly, I'm not too sure. I mean, you would want to think with an NBA player that he would want to win, but I know in the past he kind of said he wanted to win a championship if only he played with Chris Paul and LeBron James. So maybe if they found a way to get him to Cleveland or the Clippers, maybe he would consider leaving.
And they tried with Cleveland last week. They rebuffed it. So now I guess the Clippers would be the only option. But my thing is, like, if you truly, this is what I've always said about him, if you truly want to win, you'll make whatever sacrifice needed to put yourself in that position to win. The Knicks have lost 16 of 21. You're obviously not going to win. Do you try to make that step? And I thought the idea with Boston was a really good idea. I threw that out last week. Boston is close as a team to getting over the hump. They need that second scorer. You can't win a championship without it. And I think that's a perfect marriage, but it doesn't sound like he wants to go.
I don't know, but the Celtics might have to break up their team a little bit to trade him, so they might not be as good with him.
Coach Patsos, here's the next question I have for you. By the way, when I get criticized for not talking...
Nobody criticizes you because you won 2 weeks ago. You beat Jack Donahue's team. I heard you ran up the score.
I didn't run up any score.
You guys have Mohawk Honda on your uniforms, I heard.
For baseball, we will. Yeah.
We got to get them.
Yeah, Colony Little League Baseball will have...
Roger's going to get his own sponsorship.
On all the jerseys.
Like GE
every jersey on Little League.
on the Knicks and then Mohawk Honda. I heard
no. Here's what happens.
Go ahead.
We get fired up in here. We're talking about Carmelo Anthony. I want to ask you about Charles Barkley and the spat he's having with LeBron. But
the greatest
we
guy
need to discuss Siena and promote the Canisius game.
It's Saturday night, 7. Come on down. It's going to be a great game. They beat us there. We're looking for a revenge. Rematch. Their coach, Reggie Weatherspoon, was at Buffalo, but Javion's playing great. Right. Levon's playing great. Brett's doing his thing. Marquis doing a lot of stuff off the ball people don't see. He's made a lot of assists, but he's tipping the ball out. He's a great rebounder. And Kadeem's coming back. Khalil might be out because he's got a bad ankle right now. Khalil hurt himself.
Okay.
Shivers, we're calling him Shivers now. I like calling him Shivers better. He played better off the bench. And, Herter's ready to go. And Sammy Friday gives us some good minutes because we can move Javion to the 4 and then Brett to the 3 and go big. So Sammy Friday's coming around. He got a technical.
I heard that. I was listening to the radio call.
I congratulated him. Gave him a 20. Said, good job. It's like Walter Matthau on the Bad News Bears.
Sorry.
Way to join the club. No,
I hear he's a really nice young man.
He's like the nicest kid. We're only kidding. We didn't give him a 20. So
I was going to say, I don't think you can say that.
No, we're kidding. We're kidding. No, they all get money after
sometimes
the game.
Sometimes when the coach says something on this show, it gets blown out of proportion.
The point is, I said to Sammy...
We've been there.
No,
we've lived that.
Here's the thing. He said, you said the other day to get more emotional. I said, you're right. So, that's it. There was no discussion. And I said, don't do it again. You get one. Everybody gets one, right? Javion, you've never got a technical, have you? But I said, you were getting emotional. He wanted the and one. He was so happy to play and to score and to win. And he wanted to win. Sammy's he wants to win for Khalil. That's one of his freshmen. But Saturday night will be a great event. Iona I just want to thank the fans. It was a great electric crowd. They played really well, and we didn't play well. That's a bad combination in college basketball. But
that was impressive, though, 6,800 fans on Friday night.
It was unbelievable. And unfortunately, it fueled them. And then I think we might have been a little just looking around shell-shocked. But when they made it, they were making NBA threes. When we watched the film, I didn't say, hey, that was they did a lot of good things. Cluse is a good coach. They're the defending champ. They're the defending champ for a reason.
So they were making tough shots.
Yeah, and they got 2 graduate kids from Connecticut and Fordham, and they got some other different players. And Munch came back from an injury, and he took a little vacation for 2 weeks and came back. And he's really hungry to play, and we get another chance to play him. I like our league that we play everybody twice. All these superpower BCS leagues, they don't play everybody twice. We get to play him twice, and then it's going to come to 3 games in March, but we're playing really hard, and Javion's unbelievable to coach. Just telling you, guy does great in school, takes really unbelievably tough courses, business degree. He's graduating. He's only has to take 2 classes or 3 classes for this semester, and then he's done. He's going to go play overseas, going to get a job. And at Mohawk Honda, I'd hire Javion Ogunyemi tomorrow.
Yeah, there you go. And Nick Bonarigo, by the way, is in our studio this
Nick's
morning.
here. Hey, my boss, John Dargenio, drives a Mohawk. Huh?
There you go.
My wife drives a Honda.
So do I. And by the way, Tay Fisher's also coming up a little bit later on, and we all know Firefly and a former Siena stand.
Yeah, Harlem Glory. He's a great guy. He was on the train with someone yesterday and sent me a picture. He was coming up with Sperber's son-in-law.
Oh, okay.
Staff. So,
yeah.
In other words, there's Siena basketball out there, but Saturday night's a good one. So, anyways, come on out. It's a great one. Now, back to the Super Bowl. I got the Falcons winning 27-20. Remember, that was last week I said that.
All right, we got to take one break, and then we'll come back with more.
Javion's going to tell you why the Falcons are going to win.
I do want to get a prediction on the Super Bowl. You just gave a little bit, but more detail on that. And then I want to ask you about the spat between Charles Barkley and LeBron James, which is happening right now. You are listening to Big Board Sports on 104.5 A Team, ESPN Radio. Jimmy Patsos, Javion Ogunyemi in studio on the Wednesday show.